and welcome to today's video. Today's video is on Git. So as you know that Git is a version controlling tool and it's a very important tool for DevOps. So in today's video we will see some theoretical aspects of Git and also we will do some hands-on on the basic commands of Git. So let's see the theoretical aspects. So what is Git? Git is a decentralized version controlling tool. So what does decentralized version controlling tool means? It means that each and every developer who is working in the development team can take a replica of the code which is there in production and they can version control their code or track their code in their own local system. So Git helps to track or version control our code in our own local laptop even without having any sort of internet connection. Git helps to create a local repository in our laptop and then it version controls the code that we develop. That is why it's called decentralized version controlling tool. That means each and every developer who is contributing to the code can track or version control their source code in their own local laptop. It is an open source software, so Git is a software or Git is a tool which is downloadable from the internet. It is open source and yes, it is one of the most important tool for DevOps. So Git is used in the form of bash, or Git is used in the form of an extension in Visual Studio, or Visual Studio has its own Git capabilities. So this is the Git local repository structure. I will explain this when I will execute the commands. It will be easy to understand at that time. So for now we see there is something called as working directory. Then we have something called as the .git folder. So the .git folder appears when we run git init. So when git is initialized, it creates a .git folder, and inside this .git folder the local and the staging repository gets created. In today's video, we will execute these basic commands: git init, git add, git commit, git push, git remote add, git status, and git log. So let's start creating our git repository first. So this is my git account, and in this account, first of all, we will create a repository. So we will go to new, and we will create a repository called git test. We will keep it private because we'll keep it public because private is not free whereas public is free, and we will just create a repository. So here we have our repository. It is currently empty. Now we will open. First of all, we will create a folder, and inside that folder we will put a sample file which we will be version controlling. So we will just go and create a new folder and we'll name it as demo git. And here we will create a text file. We will name it as index. This is the first version. This is a text that I am writing in the notepad. Please note I am showing this demonstration with the help of this simple text file. In real life scenarios you will have projects, the project source code. However, the commands will still be the same, so I am just showing this demo with the help of a text file. Next I'll open git bash. So git bash is the git tool which is available free of cost in the internet, and with the help of git bash tool we will be able to version control our code, which in this case is the index.txt file in our local machine. So first of all we will go to the D drive because in D drive my folder has been created. Then I'll move to cd demo git. So when I do ls is the command which shows all the files which are present in a particular folder. So as we can see, we have just index.txt file present in the demo kit. Now the first thing that we need to do for version controlling our code with the help of git is the git init command. So the git init command, init means initialize. So when we run git init command in a specific directory, it will initialize this directory as the git directory, as the git directory where our code will be version controlled. So our local repository will be created in this demo git folder with the help of this git init command. Now this particular workspace that we are seeing is called the working directory. So if I go back to the slide here, you can see the first one is a working directory. So working directory is the space where our source code is present and which is not yet version controlled, okay, which is not yet tracked. So currently my index file is in the working directory, it is not yet tracked. So the moment I run git init, it will say initialized empty git repository. So now if I go back to my demo git folder, I can see there is something called as .git. Now this .git is the folder inside which my staging directory and my local repository is created. Please note that the staging directory and local repository is totally isolated from this GitHub. So this GitHub is the public repository, okay, which is available in the internet. But the staging directory and this local repository is completely local to my laptop. It has no connection with GitHub. So the as long as I am version controlling my source code in staging directory and local repository, it is only isolated in my laptop. It is not at all it is not related to the GitHub and it is not shared. So the first thing that we will do is add our file index in the staging directory and then in the local repository. So for that we need to do git add command, git add dot. So git add dot means whatever files are present in demo git folder will be added in the staging directory. So staging directory means this particular directory. So now my file which was in the working directory has been moved to staging directory. So moved in the sense it is still there in the working directory, only a copy of it has been created in staging directory for tracking purpose. So now I can do git status. So git status will actually show me the status of my files. So it is saying no commits yet, and it is showing that new file index.txt is in the staging directory. Now we will do git commit, and along with git commit we need to put a message first commit. So when we do git commit, it actually pushes the source code from the staging directory to the local repository. So now my file is tracked. So now if I do git status, it will show me on branch master nothing to commit, because the code, the source code file which was there is now in the local repository. However, the source code file is still not been transferred to the remote to the public repository, which is GitHub. So now we will do that. So for that, the first thing that we have to do is git remote add origin, and then we have to pick up this URL of my repository and put it over here. So what does that mean? So git remote add, so this particular command creates a pointer. It is not copying the local repository, it is not copying the public repository, it is just creating a pointer on the remote repository. So that is called git remote add. Now origin is just an alias given to this URL. It is, so git remote add is a pointer which is pointing to the remote repository, and origin is the alias, it is a friendly name that we are giving to our remote repository for our use here while tracking the file. Now we can actually see the list of remote repositories that we are pointing in a particular git session, so that we can do that we can see by doing git remote -b. Now we need to push our code. So for that we will write on git push and then origin. So origin is the alias that we gave to our remote git repository, and we are going to push our code from the master branch. So git push origin master means we are pushing whatever our master branch into the origin, and origin is the uh, remote repository, the GitHub repository. So when we do this, it will transfer the file from our master branch or from our local repository into the remote repository. So now if we go and refresh the GitHub page, we will be able to see our file present over here, and we can go and see this is our first version. Now next we are going to create a branch. So our master branch is now created. Our master branch has the latest code. Now a developer decides to make some additional functionalities in the application. So for that, first of all, he needs to take a copy of the production code. So taking a copy of the production code means creating a feature branch out of the master branch, making changes into the feature branch, and then merging that feature branch to the master branch, and then again pushing the code into the remote repository. So we will do that. So we clear our screen. So the first thing that we will do is git branch feature slash test. So this is the command for creating a feature branch, git branch feature slash test. However, we are still in the master branch, so we have to switch to the feature branch. So git checkout feature slash test. So it is saying switch to branch feature. So now we have moved from master branch to feature branch. Here we can do our code development, we can test it, and then we can merge our feature branch with our master branch. So here if we do ls, we can see that we have index.txt already present. Why? Because when we did git branch feature slash test, it means it created a feature branch based on the master branch. So based on the master branch means it created a feature branch as a replica of the master branch. Now we will do cat index.txt. So here we can see it is the first version. So we will do vim. So vim is the command for editing any file. So vim index.txt, we will press I. So I is for inserting data or editing the data. So here we will make it second version. Once we are done with the editing, we will click escape, then colon, then WQ, and then exclamation mark, and then enter. So now if we do cat again, we will see that it is holding this is the second version. So now what we will do, we will merge our feature branch with the master branch. So for that we have to do git merge feature slash test. Now we will switch back to master branch. So here we see we have ls index.txt, and here we can do cat and see the status. So here you can see the data of the file has changed from first version to second version. So if we go back to our remote repository, we see that the file that we pushed earlier is written as this is the first version, and now this is the second version. So we have edited the data. So now we are going to push this new version of the file into our remote repository. So for that it is git push origin and then master. Sorry, before that we have to do git add, then git commit, and then git push. So git add means whatever changes we have made, we have to add it in the staging directory. Then we have to do git commit. Git commit means adding the file into the local repository, and from there we'll do git push and then push the file into the remote repository. So git add dot, then git commit hyphen m. This is, let me just write down second commit. I can just run a git status and check, then git push origin master. Now let's see what is the status. So let's refresh it, and we will see that the data of the code has changed. It is the second version. So in this video we have seen the theoretical aspect of Git, what is a Git tool, why it is used, how it is different from a centralized version control system, creating a remote repository in GitHub, creating local repository using Git, version controlling our source code in our local laptop with the help of basic Git commands, and creating branch, making changes in the code, and then merging the branch with a feature with a master branch, and then pushing the master branch back into the remote repository. In this video, we will keep only up to here. If you have any questions, please write down in the comment section. I will try to answer them to the best of my knowledge. In our next videos, we will deal with many more Git commands. So for now, thank you everyone for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.